Carson came into the medical field was because he had an incident with one of his friends when he was a kid, like around 11, 13-ish, a teenage boy, you can imagine, in the inner city, growing up in the environment of you solve problems with your fists. You can imagine that Dr. Ben Carson was not always this low-key, calm man. It's not like that. What happened was he was with a friend and they were listening to the radio and, the music, how it is back then. And the friend got up to change the station and Ben lost it. He lost it. Like, he got so mad, he took a knife and then he tried to shove it into his friend's stomach. Luckily for him, he hit the kid's belt buckle. Horrified by what he had done, he ran to his bathroom, locked himself in there for 3 hours, and took the Bible and asked God to help him take this away, or help him be calm, or help him not react and be in control of his emotions. I can't imagine Ben yelling at someone. Like, I can't see it. He actually went on The View and was talking to Joy and Whoopi, and he kept his calm when most guests do not do that. Like, you know how The View is. If you are aware, ooh, if you're not, don't worry about it. Mm-mm. But those ladies, they instigate. And Dr. Ben Carson was so calm. When I tell you, he was just like, yes, I completely get where you're coming from. And I think this will show you a better picture of what Dr. Ben Carson is like. Um, while I go through this story and show you some pictures, I'm going to try to get some things ready in the background and see about the next video I'm going to pop up for you. But yes, he wasn't always this calm dude that we know. He started off as a rambunctious, angry child. And then he began to learn when you master your emotions, when you can get a control of who you are, you then are able to do anything and everything in life. But how did he become so capable? Why? I mean, yes, his mother made him read these books and stuff, but like, why did he excel? Part of the reason is because his mother would not accept excuses. No excuses, like none whatsoever. Like, she, in his words, he states, she would never accept your excuses. When people won't accept your excuses, you stop making them, said the humble medical wonder and University of Michigan Medical School graduate. So he went to Yale for his bachelor's of arts in psychology, and then he got his MD, University of Michigan, which is quite difficult. And then he went to John Hopkins, which is the leading medical school for psychology and especially neurosurgery. Impressive, impressive. And again, you have to think of the time, what he's working against. Different kind of atmosphere than what we have today. To continue, he insists that he's not an anomaly. All he does is just do the work. The books, the book reports that he did, and the information that he gained, despite his mother not being able to read. Like, it was during these years that he began to understand the key to success is through reading about the lives of successful people. I do this. You know that I do this. Although I enjoy seeing these figures and I like their stories and I really enjoy getting into this, I also utilize Dr. Ben Carson and I use Steve Jobs. If you've been here since the beginning, like, I use these guys as an example. When I'm having a hard day and I'm like failing, I'm like, hmm, what would what would Steve Jobs say? I know what Steve Jobs would say. Steve Jobs would be like, "This is complete shit. This is inedible. There's nothing you can do with this. You completely suck." That would be Steve Jobs. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, I get Steve Jobs. But Dr. Ben would be like, you know, you should get to understand who you are and understand what you're good at. And then you will be able to withstand all of that, all the crazy things. Dr. Ben says one of the ways he acknowledges his blessing is through one of the scholarships that his Carson Scholars Fund. He created this after being tired of seeing athletes get recognition than academically gifted students. You know it. You know the football games, parents always donating a new stadium, but it is rare that we get a new, I don't know, stage, or we get a tuba donated, or an instrument, a string instrument donated, or a piano. It's rare. Usually students who are in affluent schools are lucky to get that because their parents invest and donate said instruments. But the athletes in the inner city, you can think the athletes get all the glory. And online and what we portray, they get all the glory. So Dr. Ben Carson started this new fund to help the gifted children and to acknowledge and give them credit for everything that they are doing. Before we continue with that, and I complete that and give you more thoughts, let's see his calm demeanor because I promised that. So I want you to see how he is with Trump and debating. And Dr. Carson is wonderful, but one must understand that there are so many skills that one can attain in the world, and there's only so much time and so much energy that, you know, can be given to any particular craft. In my opinion, Dr. Ben lost the election because of his soft spokenness. It doesn't appear or didn't appear compared to Trump. Trump is passionate compared to him, if you were to be put it in polite way. But Dr. Ben is not as assertive. I think he's so used to being in the calm, like the way that you solve things from the time he was young was books. Reason always won. He never needed to fight beyond reason. Politics is sometimes it's not reason. So let's see the difference. And then you can see, be like, yeah, I can understand why Trump won. It wasn't that he's not capable, it's just that he didn't have the allure and the gravitas or the showmanship that Trump does have.
This was something that was spread widely 15 or 20
This
years
one they're
ago,
talking about
and it has
vaccines, but
not been adequately
you'll get the idea.
revealed to the public what's actually going on. Vaccines are very important, certain ones, the ones that would prevent death or crippling. There are others, there are a multitude of vaccines which probably don't fit in that category, and there should be some discretion in those cases. But, a lot of this is pushed by big government, and I think that's one of the things that people so vehemently want to get rid of big government. We have 4.1 million federal employees, 650 federal agencies and departments. That's why they have to take so much of our taxes.
Should he stop saying it? Should he stop saying the vaccines cause autism?
Well, I've just explained it to him. He can read about it if he wants to. I think he's an intelligent man and will make the correct decision after getting the real facts.
Mr. Trump, as president,
well,
you would.
I'd like to respond.
I'm going right to you.
I'd like to
Mr.
respond.
Trump, as president, you would be in charge of the Centers for Disease Control and the National Institutes of Health, both of which say you are wrong. How would you handle this as president?
Autism has become an epidemic. 25 years ago, 35 years ago, you look at the statistics, not even close. It has gotten totally out of control. I am totally in favor of vaccines, but I want smaller doses over a longer period of time. Because you take a baby in, and I've seen it, and I had my children taken care of over a long period of time, over a 2 or 3 year period of time, same exact amount. But you take this little beautiful baby and you pump, it looks just like it's meant for a horse, not for a child. And we've had so many instances, people that work for me just the other day, 2 years old, 2.5 years old, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic. I only say I'm in favor of vaccines. Do them over a longer period of time, same amount,
Thank
but
you.
just in little sections.
Dr. Carson?
And I think you're going to see a big impact on autism.
Dr. Carson, you just heard his medical take.
He's an okay doctor. Okay. But, the fact of the matter is, we have extremely well documented proof that there's no autism associated with vaccinations. But it is true that we are probably giving way too many in too short a period of time. And a lot of pediatricians now recognize that, and I think are cutting down on the number and the proximity in which those are done.
And
I
that's
think
all I'm saying, Jake. That's all I'm saying.
Dr. Paul, I'd like to bring you in.
Did you see the last little tap over there? I think that that little tap was like a bros moment when they officially like connected and they're like, we're on the same team. Of course they're on the same team, but it's like a bro moment. And I love that. I just think it's so cute. Trump is always creating little moments like that. I think it's an admirable quality. Yes, Carson, you can see, like, even in that debate, he is reluctant to be one way or another, to be divisive. And in politics, one has to be stern and divisive. Um, so, I think he still did a tremendous good in putting himself out there because I think his name resurfaced. And I think seeing his image out there is really a positive thing for all children in general. But I'm hopeful that such a man and putting his image out there will get other kids who are younger to at least see a good example of a guy who is exceptional, not because like he's born just with 100 and some crazy IQ, but because he worked, he applied himself, and he's diligent. That's really what I want to put out there. And Dr. Carson is just my heart. My heart. Oh. And these are the twins that we were talking about. Up here and then down here. I know, isn't that crazy, you guys? Oh, poor babies. You feel so bad for them. And to be able to give someone a better life than they would have had he not intervened. And this picture is just to get at your heart. I mean, you can't. He's a pediatric neurosurgeon. Like, you can't, who can go against a guy like that? Like, he's saving children. The most hardest difficult thing to do. Wow. And he says the reason why he chose to work with children is because with children, what you see is what you get. I would say that with children, the reason why it's difficult is like sometimes your heart breaks because you're not in a position to do more for them, and they are kids. Um, and that could take a toll on you, which is again why I'm like, this man is truly exceptional, truly exceptional. Gifted hands. His book that he wrote and things like that about what he went and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting. But to go further into the scholarship and all that kind of stuff that he does, when he does a scholarship, the children who receive it are usually in fourth grade because they want to have a time to mature. So if he rewards them when they're in fourth grade, they get a scholarship of like they win $1,000. They get a big trophy as big as what the kids get when they are in sports, and then they also get a certificate and they get their names printed in the newspaper, all that fun stuff. You can imagine what that could do for a kid to like have that early positive experience in the mind, or celebrating actually academically gifted kids for once. Like, it's crazy. We send our children to school and then we praise football. Nothing against football or the sports. I love sports, but we send them to school. Should their brain not be what is most celebrated? Have we lost track a little bit of what is the most important reason why they go to school is to learn, is to develop and become better and stronger in their minds? The fund is targeted to fourth grade students with superior humanistic qualities, and the award is like $41,000 goes into an escrow account, and then the money is transferred to the college that the child chooses at a later time. I love that. That the money is not given to the parents, the money is not given to the school, the money is put into a fund that can grow later for the kid. And when they're ready to take it out, it is sent to their school. So that money cannot be used for any other purposes other than knowledge. And I think that's just, it's good to think of all those little loopholes that people could use. But he says that's what we got to do in society. Dr. Ben Carson says knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.